Let's talk to the Foreign Affairs columnist at the Independent, Mary Dejevsky. Thanks for joining us, Mary. A few very important people, a few men in high places are probably having nervous moments at the moment. I would include, obviously, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and quite a few others, we're led to believe. We always thought Trump was involved. There's lots of pictures of him hanging out with Epstein. He once said he's a great guy, but clearly Trump's not too bothered himself, but other people, it would seem, will be.
Indeed, and you have to say, well, it looks as though Donald Trump and members of his clan maybe aren't on that particular list, or maybe it's going to go through a subtle degree of laundering before it appears. But it is very, very interesting because it's the sort of thing, the sort of gossipy, popular thing that makes Trump such a brilliant communicator, that he manages to engage with all sorts of audiences that you wouldn't expect to be sort of interested in mainstream politics of any sort. And releasing this sort of list would have exactly that effect.
Yes, indeed. He was talking, of course, to Joe Rogan there, the world's most successful podcaster, whose podcast is viewed and listened to by 290 million people. The Epstein Files, it strikes me, there is a syndrome under Joe Biden in America, the Democrats. They tend to sort of look after people. It's the same as the way the Biden administration has gone to the ends of the earth to protect Prince Harry in the bid by the Heritage Foundation, the think tank, to have the details of his visa application made public. Joe Biden actually apparently quietly intervened himself and said, no, 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 no. And now Trump has already indicated Harry may not get such good treatment under me. I mean, if Trump is you know, true to his word about this, and he believes in the public knowing these things, then I'm all for it. You know, you're a journalist, Mary. I'm a journalist. I believe in disclosure. If Trump really means this, I say good for him.
No, I mean, I say obviously for the same reasons, absolutely good for him. But also, I think you do have to look maybe a little beyond this and say, well, OK, if Trump's name isn't on that list, and there are, as it were, people who are not, you know, like Bill Clinton, now sort of safely retired and out of the political mainstream, who might be on that list, who it would be useful to Trump when he becomes the next president. Basically to discredit in advance, not maybe individuals who stand for particular groups. You can imagine that maybe there is a motivation there which isn't just about transparency.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It is, after all, Donald Trump. There will be an angle there. I bet you there's someone on that list that we don't know that Donald will very much enjoy exposing it, if you see what I mean.
Exactly, and also keeping beyond power and influence, discrediting in that way. I mean, it could be very, very useful. And I was talking earlier this evening about, I don't know, you've probably seen the film The Apprentice as well, and however fictionalized it may be as an account of Donald Trump's sort of earlier business dealings in New York, you can see how he fits into that environment, and also how this exposing these sort of interests to discredit people is also part of that whole setup.
Absolutely. And one last point, Mary. There is something, you know, iniquitous about the fact that the only person to suffer any kind of criminal recriminations in terms of Epstein's nefarious activities, which were vile and disgusting and deserve serious sentences for all sorts of people, I would have thought. The only person to suffer is a woman, as in Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes, and also, I mean, not just a woman, but a woman whose name, if you like, was already tarnished because of her being the daughter of Robert Maxwell. So, it is extraordinary that she is the only one to have really suffered a serious penalty for all this.
Yeah, it should be interesting times. And as someone who I vaguely knew Maxwell and who worked for him, I can say that poor old Ghislaine, she's had a hard life, seriously. Mary, thanks for coming on. Let's talk again soon. That was excellent. Mary Dejevsky there, Foreign Affairs columnist at The Independent.